Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopses and character bios for these issues. So, my daughter works at a used bookstore, does really well here in town. And I bought this exact same trade, Avenge the Future, Avengers Twilight. Now, this here is a collection of Avengers Twilight. I believe it's one through, we'll see in here. It's either 6 or 5 issues. And I wanted to go through it with you guys. Now, the reason I am doing this, normally I don't do new, I do a few new things, but I hardly do new things here, is because this was on a lot of YouTubers' best of 2024. As the best thing Marvel did this year, which tells me that Marvel didn't really have a lot in 2024. Um, I don't buy a lot of new comic books. I spend most of my money buying back issues and completing my collections. So when I had bought this, I had seen that and I went, well, I'll pick it up. Now, here's the thing. I didn't need a lot of convincing because I love the artist, Daniel Acuña. Love him. He is I really dig his art, and you'll see I haven't really covered anything he's done because I haven't done anything modern yet on I he's done a lot of stuff, particularly in the uh 20 teens and 2020s, but I haven't really gotten to that point yet. So I do have to warn you guys on something. There is a lot of left wing political undertones on this. I don't really get political in this channel, but it may turn a few people off. And if it does, if you lean right, I just want to tell you that the art is beautiful and there is action, which actually, and it's not a horrible story. And I think I think you may like it. Now, covers are by Alex Ross. Now, I'm showing you the trade because that is what I bought. I do not have the individual issues of these things. So I figured, hey, I got the trade. Let me show you the trade. So, all right. Covers are by Alex Ross. So again, um this book pertains to the future. It's the Avengers in the future. And we're going to cover the whole thing, so this may be a lengthy video. So the best of us is issue 1, again, covers by Alex Ross here. And so we start out with Captain America here. Young or old, every day starts the exact same ways. Open your eyes even if you don't want to. And most days before I hear her voice and someone calls out, "Come on, old man," I really don't. So the voice here, no lazying about. Plenty of pigeons to feed out there. And Captain America says, "Coffee in bed? What did I do to deserve this?" And she says, "Just grateful. My living legend is still living. For now," she says here. And um, as you can see, before we keep moving on, um, Daniel Acuña's art is beautiful. I love it. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. Everyone may say, "Oh, it's so digital." Most people now work digitally, and just a lot of times you may not even know it. But this dude, I absolutely love his art. So, I hope you dig it too, because his art is absolutely fantastic. And someday I will eventually get into Bendis's Avengers run, which will feature quite a bit not of his art here. So anyway, Captain America says my doctor says I'm fine, just mild arrhythmia, says Cap. And she says, "Yeah, well, I'm also your doctor, and I say take it easy today." And she gives him a kiss in the cheek here. Besides, going through all the storage stuff in the living room, so we stop living in a museum. And he says, "Yes, doctor." Her name is Rosa, so Rosa's being extra nice today. She thinks I don't notice. She forgets, I hope. Oh no, sorry. She hopes I forget. Golly, dyslexic today. It's August 13th, and you can see him looking out there. And he's walking, and his knee hurts. You can see that. And you can see how old he is. And he's looking at this picture. U.S. Senator Rogers. So he ran for politics. And um, he continues narrating, I don't get to forget. Great. It's beautiful. I could go hours rambling about his beautiful art. So we are living in a type of police state here. So, and here's Steve Rogers still dressed old, and everybody else is kind of in this newer garb here. He continues walking through. The world won't let me forget. And someone says, "Excuse me." And this person here, it's got a Spider-Man and Thor in his backpack here. And he says, "Are you Captain America like the original?" And oh, it was a woman. And Captain America says, "Yes, ma'am." "Oh, wow, wow. You mind if I?" And he says, "A selfie?" Of course not. I never would." Right, right. Sorry, my mind isn't what it used to be. So we are very far ahead in the future here. Is that why you're late meeting me? And so this is Luke Cage. At first I thought it was the Falcon, but this is Luke Cage. And they keep going here. "Come on, man. Matt's waiting in the park." That would be Daredevil. "Sorry, Luke. Slow start." "You kicking coffee now?" "You usually." And Steve interrupts. "Rosa made me one already. Hand delivered to bed." "Ah, cause it's H Day." H Day, he repeats. And Matt Murdock sniffs. "You were wearing old man cologne even when you were young." And Captain America says, "Matt, how's it going?" And Daredevil says, "Horrible, Steve. Overrun with cases. That damned Watcher act is turning every kid with an old camera phone into a criminal. Not to mention these effing terror curfews like Hydra is even a threat anymore," as he takes a sip here. And Steve Rogers says, "You're a good man." Again, look at this. Look at this art. My God, it is just gorgeous. All right. And so Steve continues, "I'm glad you decided to reopen your legal clinic." And Daredevil says, "Yeah, well, somebody's got to do something." "Matt, I told you," says Steve. "I tried to run for office, and a sound rebuke from the voters showed me that I'm just an old soldier wishing for days gone by." And Luke Cage says, "Guess we should feel sad about the old man with the beautiful wife and nice home staring at a gently swaying flag all day." And Captain America says, "Stop it. There's no super soldier serum in my body anymore. I volunteer at the food bank, at the Veterans Center. What are you doing, Luke?" And Luke Cage says, "Oh, I've got my thing. Don't worry about me. But I'm just an ex-mayor. You're a symbol. Rights are being squashed, and your voice means something against that." And Steve says, "But the majority of people don't want help. They voted for this over and over. Nobody wants to listen to me." And Daredevil says, "It doesn't matter if they want to. They need to. I'm tired of these bastards, Steve." Now you can see this here. It's this orb kind of watching them here. I'm tired of their eyes. So they are being watched. And so now here we see Steve cooking up some stir fry, it looks like. So we haven't established whether or not um, she's his wife or girlfriend, and I don't think it really matters. But um, she says here, Rosa, sure I can't help. I feel bad, and um, uh, Captain America says, "You're the one who has a job. I really don't mind." As he continues cooking here. All right then. How was coffee with Matt and Luke? Still fighting the good fight, she says. I like that he's wearing a glove. He's home, not in a restaurant. Um, oh, and Captain America continues. They are. Tried to put a guilt trip on me for not doing enough myself. And Rosa says, sounds like them. You've given your life for this country. You still do good work. And Captain America says, I guess, but that's Steve Rogers. They're more interested in what Captain America can do. And Rosa says, oh my God, do they want you to put a big letter A on your head again? Slip into your skin tight blue pants? I'm sorry, Steve, but you can do plenty of good without all that. And so now I'll just narrate this part. There's a documentary coming up here about the Red Skull here. And painting him as an anti-Nazi here. And I like FNN. So it's, again, there are huge political overtones in this. It is left-wing political overtones. It's still a pretty good story, and it is beautifully drawn. Okay, so but that's essentially what it is. That Schmidt was working against Hitler, trying to take the Fuhrer down from within. That he, sacrificed, his family, his reputation. And Steve Rogers, you can see Steve Rogers looking through the TV or the reflection here. And Captain America, look, he hits the table, and he goes, Schmidt tried to take down Hitler so he could lead the Nazi. How can they? And Rosa says, Steve, they're just trying to whip up some fake controversy. Don't fall for, as you then hear the thud. And he says, nobody cares about the truth anymore. Nobody. And so he goes in here and sits down and looks at this picture of early Avengers, although I don't see the Wasp at all. I see Giant Man, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. No Wasp. And he goes, nobody. Oh, there she is. Oh, duh, right there. And so we now see here on the scene is Iron Man. And so now we're going a little bit in the past here. And the rest of the Avengers. Iron Man, how did you discover the Hydra bombing plot? And Iron Man says, well, Andrew, I wish I could say it was Thor's detective work, but we were called in by the FBI who picked up some chatter. And Captain America says, and I don't like this uniform here, but or this headgear. And Captain America says, Iron Man is being modest here. He managed to find and defuse a nuclear level threat in no time. We're constantly amazed at the advancements to his armor. And so it was a thing here. Thanks to Star Technology. And so you're welcome. You know? Okay, so sorry. This part it sounded a little confusing here. So this on TV. So now we're gonna see the new Iron Man. Okay, so this isn't Tony Stark here. And so this is Jarvis, but not the Jarvis that you think here. So you could be thanked for a lot more if you just agreed to be Iron Man. And he goes, ugh, Jarvis, please, not this again. Just give my poor head some coffee. I'm not your butler, James. That was my brother. So, oh, come on, Kyle. Eddie was more than a butler. You know it. Be that as it may, Look at the little, what are these gnomes here? I don't think he would have enjoyed cleaning up after you either. I raised you better than this, James. I'm just, uh, I just heard from the president. He needs you to come up with a better series of soldiers now that Latveria has increased hostilities in the Hungarian border. And um, James Stark says, I just did that. I don't know what else to add to them. And Jarvis says, well, then I suppose you should head over to the raft and come up with something. Great. Anything else, Mr. CEO? Well, now that you mention it, the FBI also let us know we may have to help talk down an old friend. So remember, they were being watched. So this is who was watching them. And so here comes Steve. He's about to go live here. Okay, Mr. Rogers, we're going to go live in 2. Appreciate you having me on, he says. Oh, we're ecstatic. You're here. The crew has been buzzing all day. And so here off panel, you see apologies for my tardiness. And it's Iron Man or James Stark here. And but looking this good takes time. Hey, Uncle Steve, you good? And he says, Jimmy, wow, I haven't been called that in a long time. You really do live in the past, don't you? He says. And so this guy says, we're going live in 3, 2. And so, all right. So this part here, essentially, you're going to see it's Steve's actually showing up for something good, but that's not really what is going to happen here. So, all right. And so this lady here says, a Red Skull, a name synonymous with Nazis and supervillainy. But a recent docuseries puts forth the idea that this was, in fact, a cover for a man who tried to take Hitler down from the inside. Today, I'm joined by a true living legend, the original Captain America, Steve Rogers. And he says, thanks for having me, Tammy. And the CEO of Stark Technology, the son of the original Iron Man and Wasp. So Iron Man and the Wasp had a kid here. James Stark. Never too busy for you, Tammy. What I am too busy for is old men trying to shut down free speech. Mr. Rogers here has suddenly become quite vocal that the docuseries shouldn't air, slinking out of retirement only when it's his legacy in danger of being tarnished. Think of this series kind of like a Dark Knight Returns type thing. So we're like in an alternate future. Okay, so which I think makes the series stand on its own because again, it's a future that's most likely not going to happen, and you'll see why when we get to a part there, and I'll tell you why this is a future that's not going to happen. All right, and Captain America says that's not even remotely true, James. The Red Skull was a monster. A lot of good men and women died trying to stop him. The travesty of reporting, he says that in quotation, is a slap in the face of those heroes. And James says, heroes. You keep using the word. Do you think everyone will eventually believe it, he asks. At what point do these people stop being considered heroes? Again, in quotations, Steve. You and others like my father painted the world as black and white, heroes and villains, but then you brought us H-Day. And then she says, Hero Day, a national tragedy. And so here we are. And Steve is like, what? I'm not here to. And then she goes, a day of reckoning for the superhero community. Hundreds dead. Boston leveled. And Iron Man says, the day the world woke up. They should have said thousands dead, because thousands has a bigger impact. And realize there is no line between vigilante heroes and media dubbed villains. Unparalleled destruction by all. But the death count fell mostly to Dr. Bruce Banner, the Hulk. He was a founding member of the Avengers, was he not, Steve? I've said it before. It was Ultron. He enhanced the villains, took control of Banner. Ah, yes, Ultron. The evil AI created by yet another Avenger, Dr. Hank Pym. How are we supposed to believe you about the Red Skull? Real quick, this is sort of what the current society does feel like when you watch all news. Whether you watch Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, doesn't matter. This trick that they're doing here, they all do it. All of them. Every single one. You know, not, what is, oh my God. David Chappelle um, once said Twitter's not a real place, and he's right. Everything you see in social media, social media is a cancer. It's the worst of humanity. It's a minority group that just engages like it's like nobody gets along. Man, that is so not true. I get along with my neighbors. I get along with every. I don't go around. I don't know. People get along. It's just when they get on social media and this anonymity, they turn into things. But these news cycles, and I don't even. They're not even news channels anymore. They're opinion based shows. All of them. All of them. So CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and anybody else, they live off opinions now. Nobody reports the news. And that's sort of what's happening here. And so James continues, and when you don't even know what a hero looks like, he asks, and he says, "Damn it, Jimmy, I know what a hero looks like. They look like your mom and dad. You're trying to tarnish their legacies." And look how angry he looks here. And he's leaving. And so you don't look as hollow by comparison. And this guy's like, "Mr. Rogers, please." And he says, "I'm not going to let you tear at old wounds for ratings." And he's leaving, gives her the microphone thing. Damn it, I shouldn't have let him get to me like that. He's so much of Tony and Jan in him. They both love to pick fights with me in my old-fashioned ways. He's still a kid, protected by Jarvis' younger brother, up in that damn castle in the sky," as he walks out. "When I was his age, I was in enemy trenches, watching my friends." And so now we're going to get what happened there in Boston. And so Cap's on this pile of rubble here. And then back. So we're going to kind of keep going back and forth here. "Damn it, Tony. We should have been smarter." And again, the fire. "Calm down, Steve. Don't," as he holds on kind of to his heart here. And looks like he's almost going to be having a heart attack here. "Slow down, old man. They took the serum from you. They took your magic. Your heart can't." And again, thinking back. "We're en route, Tony." So this is kind of what we're back to that time here. So we're going to see what happened. "Any updates?" "Nothing yet, Natasha." And so Iron Man says, "Just like that, it looks like all secret identities have been blown wide open. Everyone's being lured to their loved ones and ambushed. Groups of villains all enhanced." And Captain America says, "Who's doing the enhancements?" "I don't yet know yet, Cap. Would need to actually capture one of the guys to study." Captain America says, "All right, we're here, Tony. We'll give a sit rep shortly. Stay safe." "Holy, did a bomb go off?" One of them says in the back. And Captain America says, "Keep your eyes peeled," as he walks through this wreckage here. This is just phenomenal. And you see someone going, "Ugh." And this is why this is not going to happen, because they're not going to kill off Spider-Man here. So, "Hey, Cap," says Spider-Man. You see all this debris, all the smoke here. "You should see the other guy," he says, "because sure I didn't." And Cap's like, "Save your breath. Help is on the way. I saved my aunt. Her name's May Parker. Promise me you'll keep her safe and my identity safe even after You'll be fine, son. You'll be. My name's PP." And then he ends up dying. And Captain America says, "You're Spider-Man, son." And we have Iron Fist here. And here's She-Hulk and the Black Widow. Very, very cool. "You're the best of us." And he's out and like, "Hey, pal." And so we see again this Iron Man type shield. This is shield. Like I said, we live in a police state here, and so it's almost curfew time. Get indoors. You want to be indoors, or get indoors unless you want indoors to be a cell. Okay. "Damn it, what time is it?" "Of course, we'll do, officers," he says. And so he's walking and he goes, "Subways aren't even running now. Not sure how I'll get." And then one more, man. And so he looks out, and it's these teenagers causing mischief. But of course, here comes trouble. Illegal recordings out past curfew. He's like, hey, as throws the camera now. Curfew isn't for another 10 minutes. Not according to my watch. Think of your heart. Think of Rosa, thinks Captain America. Fascist, and cusses at him. Big words for a punk. You can't help here. You're an old man. Officer, I think they've learned their lessons. An old idea. Sir, you best get moving along. It's curfew. No, son. You'd best get moving along. Ha! Guys, you getting this? All right, old man. Plenty of room for you, too. And then Steve grabs the arm and either breaks it or dislocates the shoulder. You're slow or weaker. But you fought in wars. So, punches this guy here. Throws him here. But then he's hit from behind. And the kids are like, I'm glad he helped us. But, as they continue to beat the crap out of Steve Rogers here. And suddenly you see this here. And someone here is going to save Steve. And then they put a bag over his head so he can't see here. I love this art, and he colors himself. So this is all Daniel Acuna. So the pencils, the inks, the colors, the whole shebang. The only thing he doesn't do is letter the book. But it's always nice to see you, James. And so this is where Stark works, which used to be the Raft, I believe it's called. So this guy's like saying, you should have told us, we have security protocols. And he's like, I only work when my muse strikes, and my muse is the president breathing down my neck. And so you can see a couple villains. I still don't know who this one is, but when he goes in here, you see a Venom, and this just looks beautiful and so elegant, and I don't know. I'm a huge fan. And he goes, there's also a danger to the public finding out. And Tony's like, or sorry, not Tony, James is like, finding out? Is that a threat, Maxwell? And he's like, no, of course not. Because I've given you plenty of advancements for your psycho-rehabilitation programs. So get the heck out of here. This isn't for you. And so he closes the thing. This is family business, and we still have Tony Stark alive and well and putting on the Iron Man helmet. Hey, Dad. So, all right. So now they're putting the bag out, and it's Luke. And he's like, hey, Cap, welcome back. Luke, what is this? Who are... And this person here says, you sure about this? He doesn't seem like he'll be on board. He says, and Luke says, he will be, because he knows we're at war. Ain't that right, Cap? And you were made for war. He says, damn it, Luke, what is all this? Matt's dead, Steve. What? I just saw him. Steve, it's bad out there. I know on the surface it looks fine, but they're not. Oh, sorry, but they're rot. We're not getting any of the pictures anymore. It's a jigsaw puzzle with just the edges. The government and S.H.I.E.L.D. are squashing political dissent. The new Avengers are laying waste to other countries. No, that's not. I would know. And Power Man says, how? The news, the internet, it's all under control of the conglomerate. A group that Jan and Tony's kid is a part of. We're trying to get word out. Been broadcasting to find others, to spread the truth. But it's not enough. We need someone for people to rally around, and there is only one person for a job like that. And Cap says, I'm not. Luke, I can't even protect skateboarding kids. And Luke Cage says, you could. Once in a while, you may hear me say Power Man, because after all, that was his thing. And he says, with this, what are you... My God, is that Mr. Rogers? It's an honor. My name's Carrie, and I've been doing my best to replicate. And so it's where he got the super soldier serum. And she says, yes, sir. And we were hoping to use it on one of us. But she says here, and I'm just showing you the it's a vertical panel here. So oh my god, the art, I love the art. I am so sorry if it's not your cup of tea, but I love it. And he says they died because it only works on me. And he says, Luke, you can't be serious. And Luke Cage says, I am. I don't expect you to be part of our group of defenders here working from the shadows. You're Captain effin' America. You're an Avenger. And he says, Defenders, is this your group? He says, nah, I'm just the old man dueling out old wisdom. But ever since my bulletproof skin decided to become nearly immovable, I'm all about the knowledge, he says. Amy here is in charge, formerly of the New Shield. Some same goons who just whipped your geriatric ass. And she says, well, you're welcome, by the way. Matt died defending people who the system was trying to disappear. We've been working nonstop trying to gain intel on all this, she says here. People on the inside have managed to get us photos, old school, of the abuses. These are Americans. This is what we're up against, as they show him, and he takes a look at those pictures. Rosa, it's me. He's leaving a message here. I'm sorry this is a message and not in person. I just need you to know I'm okay. So you see here some time is passing here, and he's running on the treadmill, kind of preparing himself. I won't be home for a while because they're doing the thing here with the super soldier. He's in there. There's something I need to do. And so I'm opening my eyes and hopefully the eyes of others, but I can't do it alone. Rosa. I'm going to assemble the Avengers. And this concludes issue number 1. So I hope you like this. I'm going to continue. Like I said, I'm going to do all the parts here. So this may be a really long video, and I do apologize. If you need to, go in parts, go ahead. But I'm just going to continue through here. So, great panel, by the way. I love Daniel Acuña. So book 2, That's Not Who We Are. And again, Alex Ross is the cover artist here. And so here we go. Now, if you've been hanging around so far going, okay, let's see what more of this issue is going to tell you who's actually causing all this. And I think it'll surprise you. Maybe not. Maybe you've already seen it or whatever. But it's a very, despite the political undertones, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you see sort of where this is going. So, the Shield agents here are looking at the records of this guy, and they're some of his minor infractions, but they don't want homeless people out there, and so they're gonna get rid of him. But Steve Rogers shows up from behind, and this guy says, please don't hurt me. And he says, it's okay, it's all going to be okay now. And great art here. I love it. And so now we're gonna so these were the new Avengers. So I thought it was just another, but this is the current Avengers. So somebody else is being Captain America, somebody else is being Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and all that here. And so these are just some guys in the diner kind of just talking. And here's Luke Cage. They're like, I like this phrase. Then why ain't the news reporting it? And it's that same thing that we have nowadays, where we think of the news reports what they want you to click on. It's now all a business. Everything is a business. So it's clickbait. It's this and that. So that's why you get all these headlines. It's all clickbait. So. All right, so Steve Rogers says, so you think this is the play? And And this person here says, I do. The government has complete control over what everyone sees. That means there are almost zero live events that can be disrupted, and sporting events are far too secure in their arenas and parks. And she continues, so New Year's Eve in Times Square is the perfect opportunity. And the other person says, the remote news stations will be on site. I've been working on a device that will override the broadcast whatever we want. And the other one then says, we've made a video with essentially the greatest hits of atrocities they've been pulling. And Captain America says, I have to admit, I'm used to winning wars on the battlefield. And she says, the battlefield is the minds of Americans, Cap. The government and corporations have been feeding them lies for so long. You know what? I actually agree with that part. If you've ever watched Netflix's show, Who Can Be a Dictator, you know this can happen. And don't give me your political leaning and saying my party would never do that. They absolutely would. Oh, my candidate would never do that. They absolutely would. People are people. They don't... yeah. So, anyway, continue here. That nobody sees what we've seen. People being displaced, arrested for minor infractions. Nobody is allowed to record anything. Nobody's allowed to step out of line. We've been running our pirate radio show, but not enough people even know about them to hear what we're saying. This is our big chance. And Power Man says, there's an illusion of freedom, Steve, and we need to shatter it. And so... continues here. It's not just about here at home. America's been committing atrocities across the globe using their Avengers, and nobody here even knows about it. Okay, I'm on board. Cap behind him. We brought her in. She's in room C. And he thinks, thanks, Lewis. Of course, we know who they're bringing in. And then Cap brings in that poor homeless guy that was going to get beat up. And Power Man's like, dude, we're running out of room. And he's like, I couldn't just leave him out there. But, all right, so now Rosa is here. And he was just going to, she's like, sorry. And sorry, you go and blow up my life. And he's like, Rosa, it happened so fast. I didn't mean to. And then she slaps him. And she says, you never mean to. You just act. And anyone in your orbit is collateral damage to your frickin' moral stances. Rosa, I'm sorry. I'll make things right. And she says, I can't go home. I can't go to work. And she says, or she yells, I'll make myself useful since I'm trapped here. I'm pretty sure you'll need all the medical attention at some point. But you and me are through. And she says, go fight your war, Steve. That's all you know how to do here. So, the White House, again, I love this art here. And so you see them here with the president here. And James Stark says, it's not a situation just yet, Mr. President, but it could be. Oh, sorry, that was Jarvis. Is it really him? And James says, the original Cap? Yeah, it's him. Old man freaked on TV with me, then went and took some swings at cops. And James says, looks like he got recruited by those underground losers. And Jarvis says, I would not classify the defenders as losers, James. Resistance grows unless you crush it. And the president says, so should we call the Avengers, right? And Jarvis says, the last thing we need is some accidental footage of our Captain America punching a geriatric soldier. No. We'll send in the Thunderbolts. And he's like, on American soil? And Stark says, why not? They're Americans. Love the cartooniness. I really love this artist. I would recommend anything he does. Anything he does, I recommend. And so he says, the president says, we can't. I won't let a war start within the borders of my country, Mr. Jarvis. And James laughs. And the president says, what's so funny, Mr. Stark? What's about to happen? And Jarvis says, who do you think you are? He goes, I'm the president. Frankly, you're just some CEO. And he says, I'm the CEO. and he grabs the president. The president yells for help, and Jarvis continues, "Of America, and you're just a mascot." And he throws him in there. I like this part. You know who they're trying to make it look like, Donald Trump. You know, it's fine. Like I said, it's still pretty funny. "Here's the secret to the Secret Service. They work for us," says Jarvis. And you know damn well you work for us too. It's our money that put you in that seat. We'll take care of Steve Rogers for you. "You're welcome," says Stark. And so the president just kind of puts his tie back on here. And so these are the Thunderbolts here. And so we're just kind of move this part a little quick here. But they're going to take on Captain America. And they're like, "What?" And so he's looking for two more of the people. And they're out doing in the hills. And one of them shoots the hat off him. And he's like, "Bullseye, get your ass down here. I told you to shoot at designated targets." And so it turns out this guy is Bullseye, but not the Bullseye. And so, and he says, "Well, from the lip reading, I think we're going after Steve Rogers." And they're like, "The living legend, my dad served because of him." So, and he says, "Doesn't matter how you feel. We don't protect Captain America. We protect America. History's full of heroes going bad, and it's our job to find him and neutralize them." So so simplistic, yet you can just, I am so envious of the talent. He see how he draws so beautifully and simple. So all right, so this year is Kamala, forgot her name, Miss Marvel. I don't follow or read Miss Marvel, so I don't know her last name, but these are her kids. She's sending them to school. She's watching the news, and Steve Rogers shows up, and he says, "Hi, Kamala, I need your help." And she's like, "What? You can't be here." And he's like, I know. You have a life and a loved ones to protect, but I wouldn't be here if it was important. There's so few of us, and you were one of the best. The Avengers need to." And he says, "Those are the Avengers, Steve. We lost everything on H Day. I can't believe you would even come here. I have a family. You can't do this. You can't ask this of me." And he's like, "Kamala, I truly am. Right now, it's just me and Luke and some kids, older than yours, but still kids, calling themselves defenders, fighting for a world where they don't have to be scared anymore. We need you to fight so your children won't have to." So, and she says, "I don't know who you're talking about. Get out. Get out." And so Steve says, "These kids, these defenders, they've opened my eyes to what's really going on. But they've also told me stories of people helping each other against a system of tyrants, people housing others, protecting them. There's even been some reports of people saved by a giant hand, like the hand of God. Can you believe it? The Dark Avenger protocols are in effect. If you need to get in touch, goodbye, Kamala." And so he leaves. She goes downstairs and uses her illegal radio here to listen to the defenders. You know that she says no, but you know that she's ultimately going to do this. So, all right, so now we have New Year's Eve. Again, I like this. I just, you don't see just the way this is drawn. It's beautifully here. So they're all kind of looking here. We have Steve Rogers. "How's it going down there, Amy?" She says, "So far, so good," she says. The police are focused on the talent, so no one's protecting the broadcast trailers. We won't even need to get inside. Just tap into their external pipeline." And so you see this little thing here. "We just need to find the right one." And here they are in this black. "Hurry it up, Tyler. We won't have long before we're spotted." And so, "Okay, I think I've got it." And Tyler says, "It'll just take a couple of minutes to hack into their system before we can switch it over to our." And this guy sees him and says, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Damn it, 2 minutes. Hold them off for 2 minutes." And so they throw, you can see they throw like the club there. And Steve's like, damn it, I was hoping to sit this one out, keep things covert. And so once we're in, they can't shut the broadcast off as they keep, she keeps fighting him here. Suddenly there's a shot there. Damn it, we've got company, and they're not just cops. They knew we were coming. Those are the Thunderbolt troops, and you can see them there. We need help here. Here we go. And Captain America now, you can see the jump through. Let's see if I remember what to do, old man. During times of war, and he grabs this guy here and kicks this guy here. Even with the re-up super soldier serum, my knee isn't what it once was. And so this one grabs, and she goes, this one, protect Tyler. He's got the broadcast switch. And so he throws it Cap, and Captain America grabs it here. Still a minute before I can switch over to our footage. Drop it as he dodges the bullet. Damn it. No shield, so I need to be, and suddenly that bullet, he misses and dodges it, but hits that woman here, and Captain America, I love the red being used for effect here. There are hundreds of innocent people here as he punches him. Bullseye, you on him or what? Damn it, Jones, answer me. And just looks, got you, old man. And he has with the bubble gum. And he just looks, the bubble gum explodes, but still nothing. And he shoots just the console here. Stand down, Thunderbolts. The situation is going live to the world, and we just shot a civilian. And, damn it, maybe there's a way Tanya can manually broadcast that video, or Cap, we're live. And he holds on, he grabs the microphone here. And so Steve Rogers is going to make a speech here. Your government has stolen away your freedom. The Watcher Act isn't there to protect you. It isn't there to protect your privacy. It's there to protect them and to make sure you never see what they're doing to the world, to the disenfranchised. And I sort of agree with that. That is, it's always a look over here by both of these political parties. It's so light. It's so light never shines on their crimes, so you never see the helpless people who suffer in order for you to thrive. That's not who we are. We're Americans. We look out for people. We don't turn our backs. And now that you know, again, love the art, you can begin to be free again. And this guy's like, sir, are you seeing this? Should we take him out? And Jarvis says, no, I don't think that's necessary. And he continues, Steve Rogers talking here. Together we can fight back, we can. And Jarvis says, I think he's doing a good enough job of it himself. And so they stop him, and he's like, we gotta go. Sir, do we have permission to engage with the hostages? Network HQ has managed to root out the hacker's code. There are no eyes on us, so put them down, Thunderbolts. And so they're running toward them, and off they go. And not a chance as they shoot. They hits this guy here, and Captain America grabs him, and off they go. And they're like, Bullseye, what are you doing? Take the shot. He's up here. And Bullseye just looks, but did not take the shot. So I have a feeling there's a face turn coming for Bullseye. And so James here has been working on some stuff here and says, Dad's big brain cracked a couple of issues I was having with this new armor. It'll take a while to make more, but in a few months you'll have enough for the army. And Jarvis says, excellent news, son, but I don't want these suits for the army. I want them for you. And James says, we've been over this. I'm not my dad. I don't want to wear these effing murder machines. And Jarvis says, I know, James, but things have changed. Steve Rogers is a dog with a bone, and the only thing that will cause him to misstep is knowing his friend's son is inside that machine. Iron Man is your destiny, James. Tony Stark and Janet Van Dyne didn't sire a fool, and I didn't raise a coward as he leaves. So, and so now we're going to get the big reveal. So, you're losing control, so as it says here. So you can see that based on that. Based on the way the panel is, the sound is coming from within the room, so like an intercom or something like that. And so now you're in the past here, and so you're in Boston. And again, now Jarvis, Harley, there are bumps along the way, but if there's only one thing I've learned from you, and again now see this shield agent here, it's patience. You didn't have enough of it on H Day. Who is he talking to? And so again, the shield agent. And so you lost. Now it's taking the mask. Who is it? I watched you lose and thought to myself, you ready? The Red Skull was the agent. How does a robot not have patience? I am forever, Skull. This is the Red Skull. The Red Skull and Ultron have teamed up. Everything that's happening is because of them. That's actually quite clever. I like that. But every second is an infinity. You're losing control, and I need you alive in order to fulfill your end of the deal. To free me from your crude prison. And the Red Skull says, having your head on ice has been a greater boon than even Stark's. And a deal is a deal, robot. Once I've set this world into shape and am ready to depart it, let the robots have their way with it for a millennia. Let Ultron bring Earth to its next era of greatness. And so now we're back here with Luke Cage here. Anything, Tyler? Nothing, Mr. Cage. I mean, it was obvious that the news station weren't going to suddenly go pro-Cap, but nobody was swayed by his speech. I've been monitoring some chatter, and the defenders are bringing back stories. And if anything, people are more against him and us than ever before. And he continues here. I told Cap the reaction, and I don't think he's taking it well. Yeah, that tracks. Keep monitoring and let me know if anything changes. And Captain America is just sitting there. Steve, how are? And he says, I'm a fool, Luke. I thought I could tell people what was happening and they believed me, join the fight. I thought that their freedoms meant something to them. I thought the flag that I wear meant something to people. And then he smacks him in the back. And he goes, hey, shut up. We don't have time for your sad American dream speeches. I'm not. You don't do this crap to be liked. We do it because it's right. Bad people are doing bad things and we stop them. Yeah, it could be easier if the world was with us. But we'll do it on our own if we have to, like always. And behind them. Or maybe not. It took my guy months, but I finally got inside scoop on their secret weapon. We need help. Well then, let's get it. From the smartest man. And so, who are we talking about? So you see this here. Tony Stark. And so, now we go to issue number 3. So far with me, what do you guys think? With you, I can do anything. Again, cover by Alex Ross. And so, here we go. So I gotta tell you, before we get started, this issue is really good. A little preachy, but it's really good. So, let's see here. Thunderbolts are getting, basically, their asses handed to them by their CEO here. An embarrassment. A bunch of punks with homemade outfits got the better of us. The U.S. effing Marine Corps. The Thunderbolts. And you, Bullseye. Never misses a target. Steve Rogers, a geriatric relic, just scooters away. Because you didn't take the shot. Care to explain to me, Marine? And he wasn't armed. I don't shoot unarmed civilians, sir. You don't. One, you shoot exactly who I tell you to shoot. And two, that man is the most dangerous military asset ever created. And his head is full of freaking delusions and cotton candy dreams. And what he thinks the world should be, what the flag he wears should represent. And that Marine is what makes him dangerous. And so now we're back to Captain America. I can't sleep, not while knowing you're out there. So he's looking at Tony here. Tony, our genius, our visionary, imprisoned by our circuitry so they can tap into that vision. This isn't their fight, these children. I won't let them die for us. And so Cap's leaving, and Tyler says, can't sleep? Guess not, Tyler. Any luck with the transmitter? And Tyler says, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I managed to make one, but I've got it sending the signals you wanted. What is it again? I can't figure out the code or the language, he says. It's a distress signal, a very old one at that. I'm not expecting anything, but, well, now's the time for a Hail Mary. That's a football term for any of you that don't know that. It's much appreciated, son. And Tyler figures out he's going to the raft without them. And Captain America says, I am. Luke can barely move. None of you are ready for the raft. It's too dangerous, says Steve. It's in the middle of the East River. If things go wrong, there's no escape plan. Just the icy waters that swallow you whole and fill your lungs. And Tyler says, I get it. You've lost people. Well, we all lost people to death, prison, which is the same thing these days. You think you can just sneak in there by yourself, be the hero? How are you going to do that without a guy who can override their security? And Steve just kind of looks at him. Love Daniel Acuna. Love his coloring. This guy is... I like him. I don't know what else to say. You've heard me for 3 issues just tell you how much I love his art. I will continue now. So, I did it, says James. I made an armor, not a drone, not some soldier's uniform, an armor for me. And the kicker is I didn't even have to use your brain to do it. I'm as good as you, Dad. As smarter even. Because you and Mom just flew around punching baddies. Like you were both in some sort of adventure novel. But me, and you can see Tony here. I'm actually saving the world, Dad, and keeping it safe. This one took me a while, but it's Tony from behind here. But the coloring in this part made it a little hard to see. I was like, what the heck is this? And so, again, look at that. All right, here we go. And now it's raining, of course. And so they're on a Quinjet here. And Cap says the government confiscated everything from Avengers Mansion after H-Day, but we still had a few Quinjets stashed away in some old, in Tony's old properties. And Tyler's like, amazing, even for old tech. This is so incredibly sophisticated. And Captain America says Tony was a man ahead of his time. He was always vibrating. Like he was frantic for the future to catch up with him. Well, if the government is really still using his brain, then he's still vibrating. Almost there. Let's go save an Avenger. Oh, this is getting really good. So, as I mentioned before, it's going to get a little preachy, but the action is also going to start ramping up here. So, all right. So they're going to put this ship. It's a blind spot. And the rain will help. So here comes Captain America here. And he gets this guy and gets in. And Captain America says, you've done great, Tyler, but this part's too dangerous. And your defenders need you alive. So in goes Captain America here. So he goes, he's done good, but he's not a soldier. The raft is no place for civilians. It used to be a high-tech security prison for the ones who let their powers corrupt them. For our villains who we'd put away time and time again. But now in a world without heroes, where the government executes its villains, it's a monstrous research facility. So here we have Dr. Octopus, the Falcon's wings, and of course Venom. Every part of me wants to burst there, shut down these experiments. But war gives us hard decisions to make. Free Tony and the rest will follow. time is short, so I'll need to do some recruiting. He grabs this guy here and grabs him here and says, "You know who I am. I'm going to remove my hand from your mouth. If you scream, you'll really get to know who I am." And he continues, "I'm not one for threats, but desperate times. I'm sure some cameras have picked me up by now, so I'll need to move quickly and get Tony." And so, love this coloring. Oh, he's so. And look at this. Just right now, I'm looking at the color. It's not so much that this is a spectacular composition, but the color. Oh my goodness. And it's all the same guy, man. Daniel Acuna is a brilliant. So, Tony, my God, it's me, it's Steve. I'm going to get you out of here, old friend, somehow. And now he goes, "Damn it, I probably should have brought Tyler with me. There's got to be a way to transport." And so he's looking at the helmet. A little too complicated, and he looks behind, and it's coming up. "Old man, don't bother moving. This time, my scope is on you." And Tony goes, "The soldier who didn't shoot me. Your CO must have been furious. Mine used to be as well. What's your name, Marine?" "To you, it's Bullseye." "Figured you'd come for your pal. You seem like the guy who makes big bad decisions." And Cap says, "Saving a friend is never a bad decision." And Bullseye says, "Man, you're corny as hell. Almost feel bad. Sorry, sad to drop you, but orders are orders. You're a terrorist." And he's surprised by that. You can see that there. And Cap says, "Is that what they told you?" "Doesn't matter what they told me," says Bullseye. "No, I suppose it doesn't," continues Captain America. "You're a soldier just following orders. It's easier to do that when you don't hear the truth." And suddenly now, here comes James as he walks in. Well, poop. Look at the different brushes that he also uses. It's just, oh. And James says, "I came to have a tech chat with the old man, not an old man." And Captain America says, "James, I'm taking your father. This isn't right, son, and you know it." And James is like, "No, what isn't right is you taking your geriatric steroids and beating up cops. All because what the world isn't how Grandpa remembers it." And Captain America says, "Throwing people in prison, never to be heard from again just because they dared question the government. That right to you?" And James says, "Oh, please, the country is fed, entertained, happy. Some whiners want to screw things up for everyone. Screw them, throw them in a pit for all I care." And meanwhile, you see that Bullseye's just listening to all this. "You messed up, old man. I'm going to call the Avengers to take you." And suddenly hit with arrows here. Help. And suddenly Bullseye comes through, but working with arrows. So guess what? We're going to have not a Bullseye anymore. "Oh, please, it's just a flesh wound." And he's like, you just put an arrow on the richest man in the world. Well, then, we better go before the wealth police comes for me." "Not to seem ungrateful, but why help me?" asks Captain America. And she says, let's just go." And so they grab Tony into this container. "Understood. I have an aircraft waiting. We can just need to get out there without being caught." But Tony is letting everybody know that he's out, but he gets shot again with the arrows. "All right, the hard way then. My ship is at the southwest corner." And Bullseye says, "I've memorized the layout of this place. Follow me and I'll get us out." And Captain America says, "Use the bowl for quiet missions, though this just stopped being quiet." And Captain America says, "You call yourself Bullseye, but I know a Hawkeye when I see one. See? If you're with me, I've got one rule, no killing." And the new Hawkeye says, "Whatever, old man." And they're like, "Down on the ground." And she says, "No killing," and shoots. It's like in Terminator 2 when the kid goes to him, "No killing," and so he shoots the guy in the legs, and the Terminator goes, "He'll live." Sort of like that. It reminded me of that. And so Off they go, running around, and he's about to walk out, but sees something, and it's his shield. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. With the serum, I can lead armies with you. I can do anything. And he puts it on. They had the shield the entire time. And so they start shooting, and he covers up. Better than you can even imagine. He throws it out. Tyler, we're coming in hot. Well, you got part of that right. You're definitely coming in, dead or alive, and we see the new Iron Man armor. It would have been nice if it was red and yellow, or even red and white, like the Silver Centurion army, and shoots at Tony here. And the new Hawkeye shoots at him, and the new Iron Man says, "Dead it is," and so. And then he's hit in the back, and it's Tyler the Quinjet, and Tyler goes, "Uh-oh, retro, I like it," and shoots in there. And Cap says, "No, shoot the windshield." And he says, Hawkeye says, "I don't think that'll," and Cap says, "Do it." And so he does. And Captain America goes, "Move your tire bones. Nobody dies today. Nobody." And he busts in and uses the bullets weakened it, so he uses his shield to smash it. "Who are you? A traitor? A spy?" And Captain America grabs Tyler, and off they go. Look at this amazing, wonderful. Not while Captain America lives. Oh, this is so decent. Wow, not half bad, Uncle Steve. Not half bad at all. And oh, this is so beautiful. He's hightailing it. "I need to get a lifeboat or something." And Captain America says, "He's not hightailing. Hawkeye, run. He's..." And suddenly, boom, he lands, causing a smashing this thing here. "Tyler, can you walk?" "I think so." And suddenly the floor opens up and everybody goes down. And there, and Hawkeye's trying to save these two. "Hold on." And Iron Man's like, "This is ridiculous. You're past. You're the past fighting the future." And Cap says, "No, I fight for the future." That's pretty cool. This is comics. See, I told you, once you kind of get past the political undertones, it really is a pretty good. Like I said, a lot of YouTubers had this as one of the best of 2024. So yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, a lot of people said this was the best thing Marvel put out this year. So, there's a couple things that Marvel put out this year, but it's still not complete. Like the Wolverine that Greg Capullo did, Revenge. That's beautifully drawn. The writing it's also a dystopian future. So, and then the Avengers and versus Aliens, or Aliens versus Avengers. But that one's not done till February. So, all right, "God, you sound like an old movie," says Iron Man, and punches him. "I don't know why I resisted for so long," as he keeps punching. "This armor, this power. Being Iron Man is, God, I feel high." And Iron Man's, "No, James, please, people are dying." And Hawkeye's still trying to save them. "People die, at least most of them do." He's, like I said, he's trying to save those people. "You want to save people? All our rules that you hate do just that." And he's not able to save them as they fall into the water here. Um, and all it takes is a few hard measures, a few examples made, a few dreamers put to sleep. What gives you the right to make those decisions? Your money, your father's brilliant mind, your lost son, your..." And he tosses Tony into the water. He goes, "No, I don't need him anymore. And I don't need anyone." And so Cap tries to hit him. "Everyone needs help, son." That's what makes it all work. And you can see this rumble here, down there. And suddenly now, told you if you forgot the cover, Miss Marvel. I've got you out. So she saved everybody here. That's what makes the world work. Pretty cool. But we're not done. We got one more shocker coming. And so Tyler's like, bring him here, Miss Marvel. And uh, Iron Man pushes him, no. And he goes, none of you are leaving here. I'll. And then he's going to shoot that boat. But Captain America hits him with the shield, kind of deflecting that. And goes, no one dies today, and punches him with the shield. Stop it, says Iron Man. Stop calling me son. And Iron Man hits him. I'm not your child, he says, as you can see Miss Marvel depositing them there. I'm James Stark. I run the world. And Captain America says, I've met men like you. You won't run for long. And he continues here. The power resides in the people. Told you it was a little preachy. And Iron Man says, goodbye, Uncle Steve. Your dreams are a little too dangerous. And he's powering up here. And then suddenly, lightning cracoom as he is hit. And he's like, what did you do? And Captain America says, what I always do in hard times. I prayed. And we get to the reveal and the last page. It's been a wolf's age, Captain. Shall we assemble? Oh my goodness. I told you this gets really, really good. And so you can see here that Thor has returned. And is this not a badass helmet? So this ends issue 3. So we're halfway there. So now we go to issue 4, Alex Ross, and we've got the new Thor, kind of a classic take on the a modern take on the classic uniform here, the firefighters. So here we go. They came, the mighty Thor and Miss Marvel. There's no stopping us now. And Iron Man says, I've heard of this Thor guy. An alien with delusions of grandeur. And so Captain America hits him here. Stand down, James. And so Thor lands and says, Captain, shall we break bread and drink mead later? How may Thor assist thee? And Captain America says, it's good to see you, old friends. We need to clear the raft. Nobody dies today. And Tyler says, we've got a problem, Cap. And here comes the missiles. And nice panel. And here comes the Air Force. And they're hit by thunder. And lightning's taking them out. And I love this part here. From one warrior to another, a request. Please exit thy vehicle. That is awesome. Sorry. This is pretty badass. I like it. And so other people yelling for help, and Miss Marvel is helping them. And the Navy is coming. So Captain America wants everybody out before the Navy gets there. And he says, this fight is done. And Iron Man leaves here. And Thor says, shall I? And Captain America says, we need you here, Thor. People are dying. James needs to go and think about what he's done. So, and what kind of man he wants to be as Thor pulls everyone to safety. And so everyone is here now, recovering. And Cap brings this guy in and says, Rosa, and she just says, put him there. I'll get to him when I can. I know, and she says, no, I'm here to help. It's my job. I took an oath. This doesn't mean anything for you and me, Steve. And Captain America says, I know. This is your oath to help, he says. And it's also mine to also help. I know you're mad. I should have talked to you beforehand. It wouldn't have changed his mind, but and he says, but I'm hoping we can still have a conversation when this is all over. I love you as he walks out. And so Amy here is all upset because these people were she says they're villains, they're enemies in our hideout. They allowed all these. And Rosa says he believes every life is worth saving, that everyone can lose their way but can be brought back into the light. Sometimes it's frustrating, but when you hear him say it, when you see him act on it, well, it can really make you believe for a moment as he kind of watches from the outs. In here, she continues, and so Thor says, "It's been too long, Captain. I never meant to." And Captain America says, "I know, Thor. It's okay." And Thor says, "It is not. The burden of immortality is that there is a point where I can no longer face those I care for. As time catches up to them, I've seen too many loved ones wither away while I have no choice but to watch them suffer." And a Power Man's like, yeah, we get it. You're a graceful ager. And Thor says, "I am ashamed, Luke, that I did not have the courage to face an enemy that will always win. Time. After the devastation of H-Day, so many lost, I couldn't." And Captain America says, "You came when we needed you. That's what counts." And so, guys, says Tyler, gods, I think we can make Mr. Stark here conscious again, but our generators is maxed out. Our tanks to the medical equipment we need. And Thor says, "Say no more, young Avenger." And he taps it with the hammer. And and Tony Stark wakes up. "James." And Miss Marvel says, "Tony, it's Kamala. It's going to be okay. We're here." "James, oh God, James, I'm so sorry," says Tony. "I saw everything, Kamala. Decades of my son, spiraling in front of my eyes. I couldn't." And Captain America says, "It's not your fault, Tony. America's been twisted. They used you." And Tony, of course, knows the truth. And he goes, "Steve, it's even worse. Danke, Herr Stark. It's the Red Skull, Steve, pretending to be Jarvis's brother, the CEO of my company. He's got my boy." So it's always Captain America and the Red Skull. The Red Skull is just such a perfect villain. The Red Skull and Doctor Doom are the best villains that Marvel has. Not Magneto, because Magneto is just someone who cares for his people. He's not really your typical villain. But these two guys, Doctor Doom and the Red Skull, man oh man. So, Stark continues. He's going to seize the military, reveal himself, and rule as the Red Skull. And Kamala's like, "Sorry, but why? He's won. He's been behind all of this, running your company, the Avengers, then America. He is already his." And Hawkeye says, "I've been in a lot of missions all around the world, fighting in countries ruled by dictators. They all had the same thing in common." And this is actually something I agree with. They wanted the world to know they did this. They were all men with irrational egos that need history books to underline their names in red. And Captain America watches. And no matter what, and Thor puts his hand on her shoulder and says, "Ha, this is our new Hawkeye." And she's like, "I'm not. I sense a great warrior spirit in her." And so Luke Cage says, "Okay, so the Red Skull is running the country, has access to its full military force and Tony's technology, and the public is probably going to be fine with it all and attack us for fighting back." "Well, damn," says Luke Cage. "Avengers assemble indeed." So, hey, we got to make things really low before the heroes overtake things. So this is following all the necessary tropes. This is the hero's tale. So, as I mentioned before, once you get past all the other stuff, this is the meat and potatoes of this story. It's essentially the hero's journey. And so we're at Stark here, and James is like, "Oh, damn it. Leave me alone. Sir, I just need you to heal your." And the Red Skull goes, "Let the boy work. He needs this." And James yells here, "I need to make a better armor, but all my friggin' tools are at the bottom of the East River." And the Red Skull says, "They made you look like a fool." And James is like, "I'm not in the mood, Jarvis." And you can see here, they made you look like a fool. And you see he's grabbing a red canister here. "They're going to take our country away from us, James. Your father and his friends who always kept America in perpetual state of chaos. All I ever wanted was prosperity and peace for all." And look at him putting his face red. "I've been vilified for it, chased through the decades, and hiding in the shadows, making things better." And he's like, "Kyle, what are you?" And he says, "I wanted to tell you, son, I've been living a lie. My name is Jonathan Smith. Oh, sorry, Johann Schmidt. I was once the terror of Hitler, the undeserved boogeyman of this country that I've grown to love so much. I was known as the Red Skull. I will be again." So now you remember in issue number 1 why there was a documentary about why the Red Skull was actually a good guy. This was all part of the plan of the Red Skull from the very beginning. So you can see now kind of how the whole story is going along here. And so Red Skull continues, "We've done this, boy. We saved this country. I needed you to know the truth. Before they came for us, before they tried to twist your mind against me, Tony Stark isn't your father. I am. We're in this together, son." And you can see James like, holy shit. So now Captain America is practicing with his shield here. Oopsie. There we go. Practice makes perfect. The old bones remember they just need more nudging. Good to see you walking around. Must be Tyler. Oh, no, it's Tony Stark. Still working on it with what we have. That Tyler kid is pretty smart. And Steve asks, "You okay?" "No, but forward is the only way. The futurist way." But he's right. You can only go forward. The past is the past, people. You can learn from it. You cannot undo it. No apology. There's nothing you can do. And so I actually absolutely love that saying. Forward is the only way. That is so true. "Steve, my mind feels out of step. I can't remember much. Did Jan survive?" And Steve says, "I'm sorry, Tony. We assumed that she died with you. Sorry, she died with you with the rest. When did you last see her? I don't remember. What everyone's calling H Day is just a jumble in my head." And so we're getting his version here. "I remember we stopped the Hulk, stopped Ultron, but lost so much. We were still Ultron-enhanced villains on a rampage. Heroes falling. Not we. There were. So, I knew what was coming next. Only a fool could have read the build-up over the years. America had had enough. I watched as they sent everything of what remained of Boston. As they sent everything at what remained of Boston. It's not just at the villains, but at us. The people were taking back their lives, their security, and mistook the firefighters for the fire. Jan and I managed to escape Boston, but couldn't leave without James." And so you see Tony working on the armor. "I remember I had a plan," and he puts it on, and then suddenly, "and then I just had pain." That is awesome. "I don't know how they saw me coming, but they did. I don't remember what happened to Jan. I wish I could, but maybe it was terrible. Maybe I'm blocking it out. Maybe she's also frozen head somewhere staring at her son as he careens toward fascism. Again, political undertones. We can't forget that. And so, uh, Captain America says, "I'm sorry, Tony. If she's alive, we'll find her. But if she's dead, damn it, we're going to avenge her. We need to topple the skull and get to James." So, I've been doing some catch up, and the biggest obstacle I can see is them, and that's the new team of Avengers here. So, they call themselves the Avengers, and Captain America says, "Not for long." So, awesome. The digital paints of Daniel Acuna are just so good. Again, I understand that for 4 issues I have been harping on how much I love his art. And it really, I mean, he's phenomenal. So, Tony, getting nervous up here? "You should have hacked Avengers Mansion security by now," says Tyler. Mr. Stark reports have the other Avengers in Portland dealing with the flood. It's almost taken care of. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to find a way into a security system. Still scanning for firewalls. And then you can see Hawkeye throws the arrow here. "Most everything of importance these days is hardwired. Airways aren't secure anymore. We can move in now." So in go the Avengers. And knock knock, we're home. "Wow," says Miss Marvel here. And this is awesome. This is just so good. All right. Oh my goodness. Just wonderful art. "It hasn't changed," says Miss Marvel. "Aye, the structure remains the same," says Thor. "But the adornments leave something to be desired." And Captain America says, "Let's go to the command center. If we can set some traps for them when they return, that'll give us the advantage we need." And Miss Marvel says, "A sneak attack doesn't sound very Avengers." And Captain America says, "The world is against us, so these Avengers strike from the shadows." And Iron Man says, "Okay, lesson learned. I'll tap in manually, see what kind of defenses the mansion has now that we can use." Defenses the mansion has now that we can use. Okay. "Tyler, how are we doing for time?" asks Captain America. "It looks like they just left the scene. I don't know how fast they are, but if cross-country travel takes less than 10 minutes, I'll be shocked." So, Tony asks Captain America, "There's not much here to dissuade enemies. I guess they don't have any. I'll try to pull up their files to see if we can spot any weaknesses." And suddenly they go, "Sorry, this is their weakness. They're hollow, like a bad Easter chocolate. These are graphic programs, environment reporters. None of it is real." So they just understood. These Avengers don't exist. So you can see here that they're created. And so the Red Skull says, "Oh, they exist. To the world that they keep in line." And Captain America says, "Skull, you maniac, you should have prayed for them to be real. That's the only thing that stood in the way of stopping us." "Oh, main Capitan, what will they represent? Is what will stop you. I've defeated you by giving your precious Americans everything they've ever wanted: prosperity through ignorance, blind eyes to the suffering of others, to America's global militaristic treachery. They believe what I tell them to believe because their cups are full. It will be resplendent to be able to finally tell them a singular truth. The Avengers of yesteryear are dead." And Captain America says, "Run now," but they close the door. And Miss Marvel says, "We're trapped." And Thor says, "You cannot trap thunder," as he does his hammer. And Hawkeye's like, "What?" And he grabs her, and off they go. And you can see just here so on the expression of her. And Captain America's like, "Go." And Miss Marvel's like, "I'm going." And he says, "Tony, get out of there." And Iron Man says, "Not yet. I'm trying to get into the Skull's local file. I just need," and then it explodes here. Scaraboom. And you can see, and then Captain America's like, "Tony." And Ms. Marvel's like, "Tony, are you all?" And look at this destruction here. And Iron Man says, "I've got his plans. He's already done it. He has the U.S. military. He's going to burn down Washington." You can see they're arresting the president. And so we're almost done here with this issue. And the Red Skull says, "Excellent. I've sent locations for all the Defenders' safe houses. Have your units target those traitors next." And James says, "How did you?" And the Red Skull says, "People are sheep." Now, I say that all the time. All people, not all people, most people are sheep. Left wing sheep, right wing sheep. They all just go with the masses, and they all, if you look at social media, in X or Twitter, and you just look at the ramblings of pundits, yeah, and then the people that respond to them, yeah, sheep. So the Red Skull says, "Others use that as a negative metaphor, but sheep are precious and beautiful, useful, but in need of guidance so that they may live free away from the wolves. I control the news, but more than that, I control the news individual people see. Comforting news fills America's household, but for those with a badge, with sanctioned guns and military might, they see an America where their president is a traitor, where government is an anti-democratic nightmare." And he's putting on an armor here, and look at that. It's gonna be so badass. "You and I have been running America unofficially for almost a decade now, son. We fed the sheep so well, their happy sheep lives are because of us. So now, let's make it official." And we see the Iron Man Red Skull armor, which is fantastic. "Let us take America," says the Red Skull. Now, before this is the last page of issue 4, but you can see Ultron right there, but I just wanted to show you how badass this freaking armor is. Just glorious. Oh, Daniel Acuña, I love his art. So issue 5 here. And the truth is rain. Again, Alex Ross cover. So, all right, here we go. The last page of this issue is going to shock you all. So I just want you to know that's here. So, James says, "I don't understand, Kyle." And the Red Skull says, "I've told you, James. My name is Johan. Now scan quickly, son. I need to be sure." And James says, "There's nothing I can see. No hidden malware, no AI programs. This armor is amazing. How did..." And Red Skull says, "A gift from one who sees what we're doing is right, but isn't above impregnating his gifts with Trojan." And he's like, "Johan, you're leaking." And he says, "Go suit up, boy. Today we save America." So Iron Man walks out, and Ultron says, "You never intended to honor our deal." And Red Skull says, "I did not. Machine serves man, Ultron. I will not allow you to reign when I die. People see me as a monster, but all I want is a better world." And Ultron says, "You are human ego on a scale that defies measurement, Skull. All you want is power, for humans to bend the knee to recognize you. You will never be satisfied. Your sad human life will forever be in pursuit of a thing denied to you from birth, from your flawed mother, your disgraceful fa." And then he doesn't get to finish it as the Red Skull obliterates the machine. And the Red Skull says, "Machine serves man, Ultron. And men," as the Red Skull Iron Man suit, "serve the Red Skull." So, pretty cool. So, here comes the Avengers, and Miss Marvel says, "So what do we know exactly?" And Captain America says, "The Red Skull's taking control of the military and law enforcement by targeting its members, specifically feeding them lies and propaganda. Computer-generated news reported in Avengers, making them believe that they're saving the country from a rogue president." And Iron Man says, "When they're actually securing it for the Skull." The files I saw at the mansion show members of the military turning against the White House and the Capitol, enacting a coup on the Pentagon. And Thor says, "When they see the God of Thunder has returned, they will think twice at such a plan." And Hawkeye says, "This is years of brainwashing. These men and women are sure of their convictions. My buddies in the Marines were all headed down that path, telling me about conspiracies and crap I knew wasn't real. But they believe it. And once someone believes, it's like trying to erode a mountain, and the truth is rain." Actually, rain will erode a mountain if it just rains on it for thousands of years. So, all right. And so you can see the Pentagon here and the White House, just everything running around, and you can see him here. And the president was like, "The Avengers will stop you." And "Mr. President," says the Red Skull, "I have some terrible news for you." And this guy's like, "Who the hell?" And the Red Skull kills him, and he says, "I have no time to convince foot soldiers of my standing here." And he's like, "Who are you?" And he lets him know the Avengers aren't real. And the president, of course, now recognizes him. "Oh my God, Jarvis." "Oh, don't worry, Mr. President. I may no longer need this diminishing human body, but I am still a man. And look at this. It's actually in him. Oh my God. A man who refuses to let the weak institutions reward weakness to coddle a nation." And he's like, "The Avengers are coming. They have to." Again, he looks like Donald Trump. It is the whole purpose of this thing is it is, but the story itself, like, it's just so good here. So, let reality set, Mr. President. The next step will go easier. If you make peace, if it looks like you're correct after all. And he closes the lid. And they go, "The White House has been taken. Tony, save the president. We'll secure the Capitol before the army gets in there." And here comes Iron Man. The ghosts of Avengers past are on their way. No time like the present then. No, please don't. And love this part here on the eye, and Red Skull kills the president as Iron Man arrives too late here. So we are about to have a Red Skull Iron Man fight. So here we go. Look at that. Oh. And the Red Skull is poor Tony Stark, asleep for years only to awaken. And to a world that still hates him, that still reels from what he did. So, and now he has James Iron Man ready to go on, and he's got an army with him. We're on our way. Tell my father he was better off in the tank. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's awesome. So here we go. They're still invading, and Thor electrocutes them. This is no battleground. You are no warriors. Amend thine actions. That's pretty cool. Miss Marvel here hitting him, and Captain America still no casualties. And Thor is like, "I, Captain Thor Odinson, will use a gentle touch." So, alright. And so here we go. There's just a little bit more of stuff. We get the whole point of, good versus evil and all that. I just kind of want to hurry along here so that we can get to our finish, because that's really what this issue is about. The Red Skull is going to say Red Skull things here. And they've arrived here, and they killed this poor gentleman here. Begin the raid on the Defenders' safe houses. And so here they go. Fire the first wave of missiles. This city needs to be raised so we can grow a new democracy. Iron Man says, "Skull, you madman, you can't." "Anthony, If you move now, you may be able to stop some of them," as he laughs. And Iron Man says, "Steve, I'm going after the incoming missiles. Skull is on the loose, and the president is dead." And the Captain America's like, "Good God." So, uh, Hawkeye says they'll hit the vice president next. So they're gonna try and get the vice president. So, all right. So you can see here a little bit of fight here, and he goes, "The captain and I will deal with the," and then he goes, "Tell me, God, have you ever fought for a country?" And Captain America's like, "Skull." And so here we go. "You fought a country before, haven't you, her captain? My beloved Germany. You were a leader of men then, but now you lead children huddled in their ramshackle buildings across America. Buildings I'm currently tearing apart. Children I'm currently murdering. President Schmidt, Alpha Team reporting in. Jersey House is empty. Delta Team the same. Zeta Team the same. Gamma Team the same. Theta Team the same. Bravo Team same." So, and then Rosa says, "Everyone's out, Steve." And then Rude, "I love you, and I've only got so many bandages. So come home safe." And Captain America's like, "All right, it's on." And I love this. "Defenders, defend." That's pretty cool. And so here we go. It's a pretty cool issue. So, "Cap, there's too many. I need Thor. Cap, he can't hear you, old man. I jammed your signal. It's over." So now we're gonna have Iron Man versus Iron Man. And so, "Son, I dreamed of this moment every minute in the tank. You've got to." And James is like, "You're a liar. Stop this madness, please. I'm begging you. You want this stopped? Then stay dead this time. The Red Skull, he's going to kill millions." And James says he's going to save billions. This isn't about being a superhero. It's about putting on a show of good versus evil. And he's like, "James, I'm not. You only ever cared about how the world sees you." They should have used different. So this is Iron Man, and then this is James here. They should have used different colors, but they're all talking from the same type of armor. So, selfless hero, the selfless hero for the camera, letting his wife die and letting his son become an orphan. "You think I wanted this? I loved you, and I loved your mother. I know you think you're doing what's right here, but people's lives are all that matters. Your mother, me, my friends, we only ever tried to save people." As you can see, that's exactly what the new Avengers are doing as they're trying to get the vice president out here. "The Red Skull only cares about power and control. I know you hate me, I do, but this isn't us." And so you can see the Avengers going through. So I'm not gonna read this portion anymore because you can pretty much see it's just supervillain and superhero back and forth stuff. And James has had enough here, and Iron Man, he sees all the other Iron Mans leaving him, and it's because his dad or Tony did it. They're remote controlled. He's like, "You don't think I could figure that out?" So they rescued the vice president, and now they're going to get the skull, and the skull's like, "Yo, Captain, you have nothing. I'm not one of your Stark derivatives, you simpletons," as he punches Thor here. "I'm the soul of the Red Skull, and I'm the power of Ultron," as he punches his. And Captain America goes, "Ultron, good to know. We routinely beat him too." So, and Thor's like, "Verily, isn't this pretty badass?" I'm telling you, it's still a very good story. So, and so James is mad because he sent the drones, and he throws Stark. He's using the drones to basically get rid of those missiles here. And unfortunately, though, there's going to be a nuke being sent. And James is mad. He's like, you couldn't leave this alone. We could have done this with minimal casualties, but now the Red Skull's about to throw everything at Washington and drop a nuclear payload. And Iron Man's like, let me stop it. And he's like, why'd you have to ruin everything, as he continues to hit him here. And he's just... So he finally gets to Captain America and says they're dropping the nuke. And so he sends Thor, and Thor goes, "I, Captain, the coward's weapon will not land today." And so here we got Luke Cage here. Is it working, Tyler? And Tyler says, "I'm broadcasting everything to every person in the country, Mr. Cage, but I'm worried they're just going to see Cap die." And he's like, typical. Always did have to save his ass back in the day. And they're like, "Mr. Cage, you can hardly move. You can't. Kid, I'm bulletproof, and I hate fascists. I'm not sitting this one out." So off he goes. It's pretty cool here. And the Skull says, "This isn't some impetuous plan. This is decades in the making." And Captain America says, "I don't care if you planned this for a millennium. I'll stop you again and again. You can manipulate people into believing that H-Day was necessary. That Hero Day was some inevitable judgments on my friend, but we'll still keep fighting because that's what we do." And then the Skull laughs here. Says, "Oh, Captain, you and your H-Day, since that glorious battle, America has been safer than ever." And suddenly Thor says no. So we're about to get to this badass reveal here. And did you ever wonder why? Was it because you heroes actually stood in the way of peace? Or was it because America finally had the ultimate weapon? And you can see this drop here as a bunch, and Thor falls. That they could drop into upstart countries at will. Typical American narcissists. It was never called H-Day because of you heroes. Are you ready? Who's that? It was H-Day because of the Hulk. And oh my goodness gracious, look at that. So the Hulk has returned for the last issue. And here we go, issue number 6. So these issues have been about 30 some pages each, so they are a little bit. So it's 6 issues probably, as with the supplement, with the not supplemental, with all the other stuff. It's like an 8-issue limited series that we've been sort of going through. So again, Alex Ross, beautiful cover here. The world is watching. Here we go. This issue is fantastic, and it is basically the end game. So here we go. This is James Stark being given kind of like the will and the end, and this ring. Now, this ring is going to be very important here. And then they're like, "You're going to stay with a family friend." You can see this ring here. Again, this ring is going to be important. "Hello, James. My name is Cal Jarvis. I know it seems bleak right now, but I'm here to show you everything will be all right, my boy." And so here we go. The Hulk. And so we're going to kind of keep going, or we're not really going to read there because, again, it's sort of self-repetitive about kind of everything. But right now, Captain America's narrating this, and he's talking about just the Hulk and and the Red Skull here. So the Red Skulls, "Do you think your military hesitated when I presented them with a Hulk that could control her, Rogers?" And so you can see just all of this anymore, and he wonders if Bruce Banner is still in there. Oh, so cool. And so here, "'Tis me you wish to fight, Behemoth," says Thor here. And so Captain America says, "Thor, get Hulk far away from civilians. We can't let people die." And Red Skull hits him. If your fellow Americans don't die from your American monster, then your American bombs will finish the job." And after Captain America falls here, "Pitiful old man pretending to be young. Is your precious serum turning on you, main Capitan? I do hope you survive long enough to burn in the coming fire here. So, um, you see James here says, "You did this." And Tony's like, "James, I never meant to leave. Your mother, I loved you. We have a second chance, but it'll be nothing if you let the Red Skull's nuke destroy everything and everyone. You don't want that, son." And he says, "You don't know me. I'm doing what's right. Some people need to die so others understand that it only works if they listen, if they follow orders, or else it's chaos." And he says, "That's the Red Skull talking." And then he sees the ring. He goes, "I remember." And of course, you see him use some electricity from his armor. And back in the past here, you see this is essentially where he put the Wasp. This is where the Wasp has been this entire time, and she was in that ring here. And they hoped that he would figure it out, but he didn't. And um, Tony says, "I'm sorry, my love. No time for catch up. A bomb is falling." And Jan says, "It's okay, my dear. There's always a bomb falling, and we have the Wasp, who's really a giant woman." As she caught, I don't know if you guys noticed, but she caught the nuke, which would still explode and take her hand off. But hey, all right. And so they're like, "Holy crap!" And so, and the Red Skull now is pissed here. "You infernal nuisances!" as he gets her hit here, and so she kind of shrinks down, and this is this has to be Iron Man. I can't see which one is which. So now West Virginia does not have these big, tall mountains like this. This looks like it would be like the Himalayas. They have mountains but not like these peaks here. So, all right. Anyway, look at that. Hulk destroy everything, and so off they go to fight. And so from there they get it to Texas and New Mexico. Oh, destroying all these beautiful things. Phoenix here, and so they're killing all these people, and you can see Bruce Banner trying to regain. "Thor, I've destroyed so many lives. Kill me." And he goes, "Banner, you can't." But he just Hulk recovers, and so James is like, "My God," and his mom's alive, and he's so happy. And he's like, "We'll deal with all the other stuff right now. We have to stop the skull, and that's priority one." So, Cap and everybody's trying to save all these civilians here, and this guy shoots us with Marvel. "Don't worry about it. She's not gonna die here." And she hits him, and he's like, "We're trying to save you." She's using the thing, and Luke's like, "You're a defender. Don't hit him." And so, Tyler's programming. Oh, I love it. He's got the glasses. Programming the camera so that people can see all this stuff. And Red Skull says, "I can track my property, Rogers. He's moving at incredible speeds, leaving destruction all across your country. Your Aryan Prince is no match for my unleashed Hulk," as he hits him here. "And you will never be a match for me." And Captain America says, "I don't have to be Skull. Your downfall will come from the people you've tricked into giving up their freedoms. Enough will see past the lies and fight back." And Red Skull grabs the American flag and says, "You simplistic fool, your country stands for nothing. This insane symbol is so easily twisted, so thoroughly co-opted, that by the time I'm done, people will wave it as a siren call to fascism. They'll see my lies as truth. I control the media. I control your insipid laws. I let your puppet president's blood wash over me because you don't need a president anymore when you have a Fuhrer." And so he removes the flag and goes, "Smile, Skull." And of course, it's all the things watching him, as everybody has now seen all this. And so, and the Skull's like, "They crave order. They crave a firm hand." And so, all right. And so, beautiful art here. So again, I'm just trying to move it along because some of the stuff can be a little self-repetitive here. So, and so you see the Wasp catches him, and now James is fighting him, and everybody's now fighting the Red Skull, and so um, Hawkeye hits him with that exploding arrow, and finally the skull is down. He's like, "You'll bend the knee, you'll," and he picks up the shield. This is awesome. You know how this story ends, Skull, and it's over, and bam! Look at this. So, and he's hurt and stuff, but he's gonna be okay. But there's a fail switch in that armor, and so at the same time they're gonna try and save Steve, and Iron Man's gonna James is gonna try to make up for it by sacrificing himself to take the Red Skull so that he doesn't explode there while they try. And Iron Man is like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna let you do that." And he says, you're young, your time as Iron Man is starting, and you've pretty much you came through at the very end, so it shows growth, and so it's time. And so we're gonna have now the Thor and the Hulk finale here, as the Hulk has pretty much destroyed everything in his path. Hulk apologizes and takes the Hulk puny into the water, and we're gonna get a double page spread here. And I'm sorry I don't make it bigger here, but as the Wasp tries to save Steve Rogers, you can see here Tony's taking in there. The Red Skull explodes, but here Thor is taking Hulk all the way down and drowning him. The Hulk, and then he puts the hammer on him, so he can't get up because he can't move the hammer. And then once the Hulk, however long it takes, I'm quite sure it takes a while because it's been proven that he can hold his breath for a while. He drowns, and so they saved Captain America here. And James shows up and says, "I'm sorry, Dad." And she goes, "I know, honey. Sometimes you win, you also lose." So, but he's got his mama back. So now 2 weeks have passed, and people are recovering here. Like I said, this issue, it was mostly about the fight and how they resolved it here. And it looks like Steve and Rosa are back, and the super serum has been downgraded to just keeping him alive serum. So, all right, and so here they're rebuilding Avengers mansion, and here's Thor. And Captain America says, "We should help. I can't do much right now in my current state, but maybe." And Thor says, "'Tis a noble suggestion, but James is now on a warrior's journey of grief, Captain. When the boy is ready, he will reach out." And Captain America says, "Thor, I thought you were... I'm on my way back to Asgard. The work of a king is sadly never done, but I need you to ask your forgiveness for Banner. It was his time. He only wished for release." And Captain America says, "I'm sorry you were put in that position. I like to think that there's always another way, but there's solace knowing he's finally at peace. I was wrong for staying away so long. If you need me and my hammer, I will be there, friends. You better... There's too few of us left," as the Wasp hugs him. But more weight in the wings if you continue to inspire." This is such badass here. And the Rainbow Bridge is called, and he goes away, and Captain America spoken like a god. And so he's returned back to Asgard here. This is kind of like an epilogue here. And he's giving him all the stuff that has happened, and he goes and sits on his throne, and Loki says, "A fun time by all, I presume, dear brother." And Thor says, "Loki, I'm in no mood for your taunts." "No taunts, my liege. You've been quite moody of late. The crown grinding you down?" he asks. And he's got here this kid. "I figured a whisper here and there to get your attention wouldn't be the worst thing." And so you can see here, he whispered to that kid, you taught the young boy on Earth how to contact me." And Loki says, "Of course, you didn't think some child could reach the gods, did you? I brought you Avengers together the first time. It only seemed fitting that I aided yet in that process." He goes, what nefarious goal was behind your intention, god of lies? And Loki says, after all these years, I've actually grown quite fond of you, dear brother, and getting you out of the house seemed like a good idea. These things are in your nature, adventuring, helping, avenging. It's what your life would be until the day you finally enter Valhalla. And so here, speaking of Valhalla, we have Bruce Banner and Iron Man. Isn't kind of ironic that the two heathen scientists ended up in an afterlife together? Tony, where? I suspect Goldilocks pulled some couple of strings for a couple of old warriors. I suggest we toast to well-deserved life retirement, Dr. Banner. For everyone here keeps laughing at me when I ask for non-alcoholic options. So, all right. And so we kind of get here. They're building the Avengers mansion here. Looks like you could use some help, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel. I still prefer Bullseye, but you'll get used to it here. And this is James here. I can handle it myself. Sure, you can, but it'll be stronger. It'll be better if we do it together. And here we have the Avengers. So this is the end of the issue, but this is the trade paperback. So we're going to see here a couple of the variant covers here. This is the second printing cover. And then this is the variant, I think, from #1 by Acuña. So, and then another variant by Acuña. This is cool. What did you guys think of this story? A lot of people said it's the best Marvel story of the year, and I tend to agree. This had a lot of stuff. Yes, I know it had a lot of political stuff and references, but overall, it had everything that you could possibly enjoy. From man, these covers are awesome. From it, so I give the story a solid A. Look at this Frank Miller cover. Look at that. That is, I don't know what Frank Miller's on. It's just wow. So, Scotty Young. I love Scotty Young. So, a couple more variant covers here. So I like this story. I hope you liked it too. I know this video was super long. I apologize for it, but these issues weren't 20 pages like normal comic books, and they were very, very long. So I do apologize that this story seemed to have taken forever here. This is a cool Hulk one here. So that is very cool here. So Avengers Twilight 1 through 6. Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuña, whom I adore. His art is just beautiful. So, I hope you liked it again. I know it was long. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck around for this whole thing, because I thought it was really good. I've talked enough. Goodbye.